in especially Variety Boys and Girls Club, where we have a senior, 100 units of affordable senior housing there, 100% affordable. But other people do use the space, do use parking spots, and the parking is at a premium in Queens. It's very tough to get parking, and our community board is really not convinced. We're really torn with mandatory inclusionary housing, that whether we should give up parking spots. That's my testimony. Any questions?
Yeah. Why did we not vote on the mandatory inclusionary housing? Just, I would have, thought that you guys would have.
It was tabled. We were, it was tabled at the last meeting to go back and do a little bit more.
Did you have another meeting last night or the night before?
No.
When is the next meeting?
It's not till after December.
So why was it tabled?
I personally was out of the country where we couldn't get internet, and I gave some of the report to Gary. I was in Cuba, so I couldn't really. There's no internet there. I mean, I had to tell you, had to ask me, right?
Well, it's an obvious question.
So we voted on the quality and affordable housing. We had notes on that, and the mandatory inclusionary housing. The committee we were going back and forth with it, and we kind of weren't able to get a consensus with the community board. And since we were a little bit, the board was a little confused about what that part of it meant. They weren't confused about the quality and affordable text amendment, but we figured we'd go back. We might have more time. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I just was wondering whether or not you might want to think about, you don't have to answer me now, doing some sort of a tally and just to get
in the next couple of days.
how
I'll do that.
everybody's thinking.
Yeah.
We
actually wanted to hear a lot. We wanted to hear more,
you want to hear more
about
about
it.
it. All right, I understand. Fair enough. Okay, I
thanks.
appreciate the testimony today. Thank you. All right, and while we're on the subject, Catholic Charities of Brooklyn and Queens.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have the unenviable task of speaking against a number of our trustees' opinions. But my name is Tim McManus. I'm the senior project manager at Catholic Charities Brooklyn and Queens. Our agency is one of many senior housing providers working with Live On, New York Affordable Senior Housing Coalition. Catholic Charities Brooklyn and Queens has been providing assistance to disadvantaged populations in the two boroughs for over 100 years. I'm affiliated with our housing group, Catholic Charities Progress of People's Development Corporation, also known as POP, which has been around since 1975. With 35 buildings and approximately 3,000 affordable housing units, of which 2,600 are senior housing apartments, we are the largest provider of affordable senior housing in New York City. Our agency also runs over 160 programs, providing services as diverse as early childhood education to end-of-life services and everything in between. Over the course of a year, approximately 500,000 people will have some significant contact with Catholic Charities Brooklyn and Queens. I'm here to voice our support for the Zoning for Quality and Affordable Zoning Amendment, or ZQA. Working within the housing group, we receive multiple calls daily asking how one can get into one of our senior buildings. The wait lists are filled immediately, and the number of applications for senior apartments is astronomical. It is clear that New York City needs to do something more to help our seniors. The zoning changes in ZQA are a real opportunity for organizations like ours to make the most of what we have. And what we have are parking lots with fewer people parking there. This is most obvious in areas near mass transit facilities, working well with the changes recommended by the ZQA. And as I mentioned above, and I wasn't aware it would be included in the presentation, my quote is, that we have waiting lists for senior apartments that are miles long, and we don't have anybody waiting for parking. Not only would the new parking requirements be a huge help to organizations like mine, but the new flexibility in design would also have a significant impact. For example, we have a potential site in Astoria where we'd like to build affordable senior apartments and a senior center on the ground floor. Under the existing zoning regulations, we have to build our senior center on 2 floors and would realize approximately 48 units. Yet with additional design flexibility provided by the ZQA amendments, we could build the senior center entirely on the ground floor, picking up an additional 4 units and with an additional floor about another 18. Granted, that would be a total of an add of 22 additional apartments for low-income seniors. It's about a drop in the bucket, but it's just one example out of many other such possibilities where the new ZQA amendments can do a lot of good for our senior community. Thank you for your time.
Would that housing development include affordable units that are not seniors?
No,
They just all be seniors?
Catholic Charities only does affordable, and seniors, yes.
And right now, you couldn't, what about the new regulations allows you to build more apartments there than you could now?
With the new, in regard to the senior center, it would allow the senior center to encroach in the rear yard fractionally, and then by adding an additional floor, we could add another 18 units.
And what allows you to add an additional floor?
The flexibility to use the additional FAR to go up at least another 5 feet.
Okay. Question? No? Thank you.
Thank you.
Henry Euler, Auburndale Improvement Association. Hi, Henry.
Hi.
Good, how are you doing? Thank you.
My name is Henry Euler. I'm the first vice president of the Auburndale Improvement Association. My civic association covers 2 community boards, 7 and 11. I'm here representing my civic today. Although the goal to increase affordable and senior housing units is admirable, the mayor's 160-page proposal would decimate many of the accomplishments that community and civic people have achieved over the years through our contextual rezonings. Some of the disturbing features of the proposal include allowances for taller and bulkier buildings in certain zoning designations, and the elimination or reduction of parking requirements for certain types of senior housing. There are many other objectionable features to the proposal, which seems to favor developers over the needs and desires of the communities. It seems that as the proposal is examined more closely, more disturbing components are uncovered. Auburndale Improvement Association sent out a petition to be signed in opposition to the mayor's proposal to all of our nearly 600 members with our September-October 2015 newsletter. We received back nearly 300 signatures against the mayor's proposal. The civic group has submitted a copy of these petitions to the borough president, along with the comments that many of the signees included. The second proposal, mandatory inclusionary housing text amendment, its main objective would require that developers set aside a larger percentage of new housing units as affordable units. But this would only be required if the site of the development had been upzoned to allow for more dense development. Auburndale Improvement Association opposes both proposals, and we hope the borough president will as well. Community Board 11 turned down both proposals unanimously. Community Board 7 turned down both proposals almost unanimously. It's my understanding that all across the city, these proposals are meeting with much opposition. It's my civic's belief that these proposals must be extensively revised so that our rezoning efforts are not put in jeopardy. As they stand now, the proposals are unacceptable. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. Do you have any questions from Julie? Do you have a hard copy of the proposal with you? No, I'm asking city clerk.
No.
Okay. I know we have it somewhere. Can we find it? Someone find it? No, the PowerPoint.
Oh.
Was this me?
This is a little bit shorter than some of the other ones.
Yeah, I just want to look at it. Well, people. Alexandra Hansen from Nice Sapling. And you are 4. The party's in there. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Alexandra Hansen, and I'm here on behalf of the New York State Association for Affordable Housing, or NYSAPA, which is the statewide trade association for New York's affordable housing industry. It's made up of for-profit and non-profit developers and others active in the financing, construction, and operation of affordable housing. Our 375 members are responsible for most of the housing built in New York State with federal, state, or local subsidies. I'd also like to note that I am a Jackson Heights, Queens resident as well. So NYSAPA is here today to support the Zoning for Quality and Affordability, or ZQA proposal, which will enable our members to build more and better affordable and senior housing to serve New York City's residents. The zoning rules that dictate building envelopes have not kept pace with fire and building requirements, modern construction practices, or the city's priority to build affordable housing. As a result, my staff and members must often leave floor area ratio on the table, resulting in a loss of affordable units at a time when the city is experiencing a housing crisis. Modernizing building envelope requirements under ZQA will ensure that affordable housing developers can maximize the number of affordable units, as well as provide better designed units, buildings that better fit with neighborhood character, and more quality retail and community facility spaces. ZQA would also allow options for more appropriate design on irregularly shaped lots and sloped sites, which currently pose significant challenges to affordable development. The requirement to provide parking, which can cost upwards of $60,000 per space, is a major financial drag on many affordable housing projects, drawing subsidy and space away from the production of affordable units. Parking requirements also detract from uses that better serve the community, such as ground floor retail, children's play areas, and green spaces. These requirements are inconsistent with the needs of long-term residents, as evidenced by the large number of spaces that are regularly go unused in affordable developments throughout the city. The elimination of parking requirements for affordable units in transit zones would enable my staff as members to focus scarce land and financial resources on building more affordable units. In addition, ZQA would unlock the potential for affordable housing to be developed on existing underutilized parking facilities. And New York City's senior population is growing by the day. Fixed incomes, housing market pressures, and the decline in federal funding for new senior housing have created a housing crisis for our city's senior residents. The city must use every tool at its disposal to facilitate the development of affordable housing for seniors. The current zoning regulations around senior housing are outdated and often inhibit innovative approaches to addressing the senior housing crisis in our city. ZQA would help my staff and members serve the housing needs of New York City seniors by offering more flexible definitions for senior housing, providing an FAR bonus, and eliminating parking requirements for senior developments. In closing, my staff will support zoning for quality and affordability, which will facilitate the creation of much-needed affordable and senior housing for New York City's residents. Thank you very much for the opportunity to testify and for your consideration of my staff's comments.
Thank you. Alderman Smith. Corona.
I'm going to decline at this time.
I'm sorry, where are you?
I'm here.
Oh,
I'm just saying, I'm going to decline.
you sure?
Thank you. Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
John Ray James.
Yes.
Hi. Minquon Center for Community Action.
So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Ray James, and I'm from the Minquon Center for Community Action, and I am also a community organizer and also a Flushing resident. So, I have two concerns that I want to deliver in terms of affordable housing plan that the mayor is proposing, which is option 1, option 2, and workforce option. So, option 1, which is, I believe, 25% affordability and 60% MI. Well, the problem is that the concern that I have about the term is that the 60% MI roughly translates to $46,000. Unfortunately, in Flushing, when you count the community board 7 income, yes, it is $57,000. But when you see the downtown Flushing and the area vicinities around it, it's mostly composed of low-income families, which makes their median income $39,000. So even under the affordability plan that the mayor is proposing, it is not affordable for most of the people living in the Flushing downtown area, who are immigrants, who are low family income families. So I believe that that's the first concern that I have about the affordability plan. It is simply not affordable to many people living in the neighborhood. And even though I appreciate the effort by the city to make a comprehensive plan which include neighborhoods in all the city, I believe that there should be a consideration for different income levels in different neighborhoods. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to be a perfect rezoning plan. And the second concern that I have, related to the first concern, is that because there's such discrepancy in income level between the proposed plan and the actual median income of the neighborhood, I believe there could be some result of indirect displacement caused by such discrepancy. And I think this is an issue that is addressed also in the scope of work that the Department of City Planning released in terms of Flushing West rezoning. And I just want to see when the Department of City Planning will release the report on what will be the effect of the rezoning in the indirect displacement in Flushing West. So I want to know more about the issues in the future, and I'm looking forward to hear from you. Thank you.
We appreciate your testimony. Thank you. Anybody else? Can I ask City Planning a few follow-up? I'm looking maybe I should have asked this before today. Can you technically explain to me the seniors aspect? Technically, right? So it's an increase, doesn't look like an increased FAR to me, right? It looks like you're replacing parking that would have normally gone there with FAR? Is that what it is? Or are you making it higher?
So this is a little bit the weeds, but
I
there
like
are
the
certain
weeds.
zoning districts.
Yeah.
It is generally true in R6 and R7 districts that senior housing already gets poor FAR. And one of the big problems with that is that the zoning envelope doesn't accommodate it. So it's been very common to have either variances or zoning overrides in order to accommodate. So for example, Hennick is building senior housing in Borough, and they had, it's on a city-owned site, which is obviously there are fewer and fewer of them, and they had 4 different zoning overrides. They had a zoning override for the envelope, for the open space ratio, for the density, and for the parking, because none of those worked for their building. And so the proposal addresses all these issues and tries to create, as one of the speakers said, bring up-to-date regulations that work for the sort of contemporary needs of senior housing. As part of that, in the highest density districts in the city, R8, R9, and R10, there is no comparable higher FAR as there is in R6 and R7. So in those districts, which are not much mapped in Queens, but are more widely mapped in Manhattan, and also in parts of Brooklyn, we are creating a higher senior housing FAR.
I'm